All right, so moving on with a discussion video, okay? Now, this is going to be a discussion video regarding the specialization revamps that were proposed, delayed, and now here's a video explaining why I believe we will not see a specialization revamp in the Division 2. So, here we go, shall we? All right, here it is. What's going on, YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 video. So sit back, relax, grab that popcorn. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. But in today's video, we are going to be discussing the specialization revamps and why I think they're not going to happen anymore in the Division 2. So there are going to be 3 different references I'm going to use in this video. The first one is going to be the Intel Annex from Trick Dempsey when she was working for the Division 2. And that was explaining the specialization revamps and how they were going to be implemented into the game. Then I'm going to show you what Yannick said in one of the earlier special reports with Daria regarding the delay of these specialization revamps. And then finally, I'm going to refer to you to Morten Ryberg, the current product director for the Division 2, and his, I don't know the best way of saying it. I would probably say snarky comments on what Trick said about the specialization revamps and how it's basically been brushed off, and I would probably, safe to say, canceled altogether. Now, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this, shall we? We're going to start off with the Annex. Now, on to the Intel Annex. Now, this Intel Annex was written, I believe, by Trick Dempsey back in October of 2021. Now, the reason I'm using this first as a reference is because recently, on the most recent special report with Daria and Morten Ryberg, Morten refers to this article in a snarky fashion and kind of says that they shot themselves in the foot when they wrote this, kind of hinting at they're not going with this direction anymore. However, for the sake of the video, let's see what was said and refresh everyone's history on the specialization revamps. So here we go. October 2021. It says it'll take 5 minutes to read this. Agents, as previously communicated, we are back with a new episode of Intel Annex Initiative. Today we are kickstarting things strong with a focus on how to improve one of the key aspects of the game, being specializations. While all details will be shared closer to launch, we wanted to give you a first sneak peek about how the team is going to continue to give you more of a choice in building your perfect agent. To introduce this content, we now leave the floor to Trick Dempsey, the expert game designer. Now, remember, Trick Dempsey no longer works with Massive or the Division 2, and as far as we know, this has been delayed indefinitely because what you'll hear from Yannick later on is that this was a complete overhaul to a huge part of the game, being the specializations, and how the specializations affect every single build in the game. So changing the specializations will in fact change a big part of the game. And things that they introduce in this article will kind of hint at how it was, not working with the current build of the game and why they're, probably going to trash this initiative. Okay, specialization revamp. In the last few years, we've dedicated a lot of our time researching the builds used by players in both PvE and PvP, and we've concluded that specializations are today not reaching their full potential. Now, remember, this was, a year and a half ago, and it still is the exact same today. It's still not reaching its full potential. Our objective with specializations is to empower the players to create agents who match their playstyle preferences. With our next update, specializations will greatly improve both build diversity and player choice. To do this, we will be splitting up specialization progression into a linear and specialization tree progression system. Now, with our next update, I mean, this was all supposed to start, with year 4. And obviously, it's been a year and a half, and none of this has come to be. So, talking about the linear level progression, in the current design, much of the existing specialization tree is mandatory. Agents can spend their points on improving the signature weapon damage and ammo acquisition, also requiring to manually add and remove individual elements whenever you decide to try out new weapons. To benefit with our ambition to create a more bespoke experience for all specializations, these elements will be moving into a strictly linear level system. This is where you'll unlock a skill variant, sidearm, or signature weapon power, and all this is where the power increase comes from perks will be moved here once they've already been removed and reviewed and tuned. Once you've unlocked these benefits, they will remain permanently on your character as they have that specialization active. So, for skill variants, sidearms, and signature weapon power, um, these are all things that you would unlock while doing this linear progression, right? So you're leveling it up, you would unlock the skill, you would unlock the sidearm, you'd unlock, the heavy weapon. Now, the skill variants. Remember that the skill variants right now in specializations, we have the Banshee Pulse, the Artificer Hive, we have the Mending Seeker Mines, things like this, that where you can only use those skills if you are using a certain specialization. Well, with this linear progression system, once you unlock it on your character. That way, I could use, say a Mending Seeker Mine on a healer build with Technician. You know what I mean? Or I could use a mortar turret, the artillery turret. I could use that on, like, say, gunner specialization. Or I could use the Banshee Pulse with firewall specialization. Things like this. Like they would make it to where once you unlock these, specific items within that linear progression system, it's unlocked permanently on your character. That way you can switch from build to build and still keep those things and, customize it to your playstyle. Pretty cool, right? Now it says the specialization tree. Thanks to the addition of the linear progression system, we will be entirely reviewing the specialization tree to provide a strong focus on customization and choices to the players. Importantly, there will not be enough specialization points. Okay. So there will not be enough specialization points to purchase every perk on the tree. Now, this is saying that you would have to pick certain things, certain talents that you want. Now, this would be different for each build, what have you, each different playstyle. Like, if you're in cover, you would probably want perks on your specialization tree to help, agents that are in cover. If you're running around, you probably want more specialization talents or perks that go towards people that are moving a lot, things like this. Now, it's pretty cool that they were planning on making it this way because then you could really customize each build. Like each build video would go into even more, details because of this specialization rework, because then your specialization really does matter to your build. Now it says the specialization tree focuses on 3 elements: your signature weapon, your armor kit, and grenade. For the grenades and armor kits, we want to provide alternate uses for these consumables, which may be triggered instantly in addition to their standard behavior. The tree permit agents to pick whether their armor kits and grenades have alternate quick uses and invest additional specialization points to improve them. So, how Trick was explaining this is that what they were planning on doing is, say each of your perks had 3 tiers, right? You could spec 3 times into one perk. It would make that perk stronger, right? So say you could have, 9 perks active all at the same time, or you could have 3 maxed out perks all at the same time. You see what I mean? Where it's the same amount of points, but you would either use them to have different perks, or you could make the perks that you want super strong. Now, in this example, Trick was saying that you could spec into your armor kits or grenades to make them instant, meaning they wanted to where you could throw a grenade and it would blow up instantly. Or you needed to take an armor kit and you could take that instantly if you spec'd into them via your specialization tree. And this was a great idea. Everyone was like, yo, instant armor kits just like Division 1. Like, that would be amazing. Or instant grenades just like Division 1. That would be amazing. Remember, what was that? The short bow knee pads? You put those on in Division 1 and your grenades would, go off instantly. I mean, come on. It was, this is all great ideas. For your signature weapon, we want to allow players to customize their behavior and invest specialization points to improve the impact of these choices. This would be meaningless addition without the ability to make named enemies vulnerable to signature weapon damage. So we are implementing that to make it possible. So they took this out a long time ago in the game and they're reintroducing it back. Meaning, if you were to spec your specialization points into your actual signature weapon, being your minigun, your grenade launcher, your missile launcher, what have you, this would give you the opportunity to make the named enemy vulnerable and kill them faster with these signature weapons if you were to spec into them with your specialization points. I mean, these were all really good, thoughts. These were all really good plans to implement. Additionally, we want the whole specialization tree to be valid in all game modes. This means that we are reintroducing signature weapons to PvP. That right there, to PvP, that right there, I'm telling you, put a big wrench in their operations. I'm telling you right now, that probably was never going to happen. Putting signature weapons back into the Dark Zone would have been a horrible idea. And with instant grenades and instant medkits, without the proper balancing, this would have been horrible. To just bring back, demolitionist grenade launchers and flamethrowers back into the Dark Zone. Oh, man. Oh, just think about it. You go into a checkpoint, you enter the Dark Zone, and all of a sudden, doop, 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 boom, 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 and then everyone's dead. And you're just like, oh, yeah, welcome to the Dark Zone. We want all players to enjoy the benefit from these new balancing efforts and improve their experience. To avoid seeing signature weapons become the ultimate ambush tool, agents will be treated the same way as named enemies when it comes to the signature weapon damage. This will require significant balancing and tuning, so we will be watching build and player performance closely. So they already know that it's going to be like crazy, but it says you would act just like a named enemy. So again, like they just set up here with the named enemy, if you spec into your specialization weapon, you can go into PvP and mess up players, because if you spec into it to mess up named enemies, you'll be able to mess up the players just the same. I mean, this was pretty much a slam dunk for really, really throwing the Dark Zone into a loop. Because we already have specialization ammo in Conflict, but it's not easy to obtain. Now it says the power of choice. With a specialization and its signature weapon, while a specialization and its signature weapon are tied, that would no longer be true for their mods, skill variants, and sidearms anymore. Meaning I could use a gunner pistol with a sharpshooter build. I could use the fire starter double barrel sawed off with a, I don't know, a demo, things like that. Um, like I was saying earlier with the skill variants and all of that. Now, the mods, that's really cool because some of the mods are really strong. Because for Firewall, you have shield mods. For Gunner, you have pulse mods. For Survivalists, you have seeker mods, things like that. This was another great idea. Would you want to use a Artificer Hive with the mortar turret while wielding the Survivalist D50? Well, you can do that with this. As you might guess, these changes, among other exciting improvements to come with our next update, are quite a complex topic to handle, and we want to take the time to deliver the best experience to you all. Good hunting, Trick Dempsey. Okay. Now, this was everything they had on specialization revamps. Half of it is really exciting. Like I was saying with the PvP part and reintroducing that into the Dark Zone, I don't know about that. But the rest of it was really exciting. The instant med kit, the instant grenade, all of that, the different ways you could do your specializations. They were making it to where you could spec into certain talents or perks more to get more out of it. I mean, it all sounded really, really exciting. All right. So this was October, right? So now we're going to fast forward to what Yannick said with Daria. And then we're going to finish up with what Morton said with Daria at the latest specialization revamp. And you can kind of hear the different attitudes and approaches to the question and kind of see where their direction is heading. After that, I'll give you my conclusion and then we'll get out of here. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, since we already kind of dropped several hints on year 4 and what's going to happen with the game going forward, I think it's time to address the elephant in the room, Spec Revamp.
Like which elephant? There's a few of them. Yes, Spec Revamp. I mean, Spec Revamp, as you know, was initially planned for TU15. So we've put a lot of work into this. And the idea with Spec Revamp is to really change the way we approach specializations. Right now, for a lot of people, specialization is a choice you make, mostly for the passive buffs you're going to get out of it, and then you forget about it. And the use of the signature weapon is even more something anecdotal that you may remember or you may not. Again, some people might use it more than others, but the game doesn't really answer well to you using your signature weapon because we never really found the right spot between should it be powerful, so it actually makes a difference, but then it kind of negates a lot of the boss mechanics we have in the game, or should we not be too powerful, but then people don't use it. So the revamp, the idea of the Spec Revamp is to change that and make your specialization choice like a really crucial choice in terms of playstyle and the build you're going to go for. So that's why we've changed the way the specialization tree looks, and we've changed all the bonuses you get there. We've changed the way we're giving you those bonuses. Some of them will be directly under the linear progression as you rank up your specialization. Some others are going to be choices that you get from that tree. But one thing we wanted was to make those choices meaningful. So they are powerful choices. They are kind of build playstyle defining choices. And you will have to make difficult choices because you will not be able to specialize in everything. Some decisions will be mutually exclusive. So if you decide to go left, the right branch gets locked. Or in any way you will not have enough points to max out everything. Because that's where people then forget and stop caring, because if I maxed out everything, I just play the game and I don't need to think of how the mechanics work. So anyway, this is it's a big thing. It's a big endeavor. We really wanted to have it ready for TU15, but unfortunately it's not ready. And we don't want to rush it. We want to do it proper because it's important, and we really want that to be as game-changing as possible. So we don't really want to compromise on the quality and rush releasing it because we said it would be TU15. As we've said, we have a year of content. So if it's not ready for TU15, then hopefully it will be ready for the TU after that. But it is It's almost there, but it's not entirely there. So we want to take the time to make it as good as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can wait. I'm maybe trying to kind of foresee the questions that we're going to see in the chat later today, but I'm just 100% sure that people going to ask about the Spec revamp because there's been no updates for quite some time, and
yeah, I guess the article from way back in the fall of, what was it, 21, is still biting us a bit. We're not going to move into details on year 5. So we ask you to wait a little longer on that kind of detail. So for now, we don't have information to share. But in our year 5 update, we'll get in on all things year 5 and how we're going to change the game.
And I assume that for year 5, as soon as we're done with the season 11 release, we'll probably update the roadmap to let everyone know what are our future plans.
Yeah, we have some good plans for a year 5 update to all our players, and we'll let you know when we're ready to reveal that kind of information.
Yeah, but this stream is not about year 5. This stream is about season 11.
All right, and we're back. So, you got to hear what Trick initially said with the Intel Annex. You got to hear what Yannick said with the delay. And you also just heard what Morten said about the current state of the Specialization Revamp. It's safe to say that this has been pulled off of the shelf and could be reintroduced on the table later on down the road. However, as far as it seems, and with all the rumors and everything about year 5, it does not seem that the Specialization Revamp is planned to make a return anytime soon. In fact, the way that Morten was talking about that initial article, it seems as if it might not be happening at all, to be honest. I'm sure that they will say, never say never, but it's looking like we're not going to have that anytime soon. And with us already heading into year 5 of this game's life cycle, I doubt that we will see it in the game, sadly. Now, if we do, and say like at the end of year 5 they give us a Specialization Revamp, well, that would completely change the game for both PvE and PvP, and it would be very exciting. However, like I said, and with the the evidence the developers are showing us and the trajectory of this topic, it's seeming like they want to avoid this at all costs and just move on with the other things that they had planned. It seems like with the way Morten was talking about it, it seems like this was an idea that Trick Dempsey had while Trick Dempsey was with Massive Entertainment, and it seems that it kind of never came to be, and then with Trick exiting Ubisoft Massive, that idea kind of went with her. But all right, that is it on this topic. Let me know what you think about Specialization Revamps. This is in no way, shape, or form a negative video. It is a discussion-based video, so we need to discuss about it. I have been getting questions about these Specialization Revamps for about 1.5 years, ever since the initial annex came to be, and we still don't have any answers. It's safe to say at this point it's probably canceled. But all right, that is it. I am Kamikazevondoom. If you found this video helpful or informative in any way, shape, or form, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Support the channel by subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a good day. Peace.